Alright guys, so I've been trading for 16 years and I'm going to walk you guys through a live trading session. And I'm going to try to make $25,000 and show you guys what a real profitable trader looks like. I'm going to go through every trade I take, winning trade, losing trade, and hopefully you guys find some real value out of this. By the end of this session, you're going to see exactly how an 8-figure trader operates on a daily basis. Alright, so the rules for today is I'm going to be trading futures and options. For futures, I'm going to do $10,000 of drawdown per trade before I stop out. And for options, I'll do about $10,000 per position. And we'll see if we can run it up to $25,000 by the end of the session today. So looking at futures here pre-market, you guys can see we're getting a gap up here in ES, which is SPX futures. NQ is gapping up, which is the NASDAQ. And you're seeing gold higher and then oil lower, which is exactly what you want to see in terms of strength in the stock market. Right now, I'll show you guys right here. I actually trade from my phone. So you can see here, no open positions. Did take a L on MU. So 16,000 overnight I lost, but we're starting the session with no open positions right now. Might jump in some NQ. So you guys can see on the screen here. I'm gonna pick up 10 lots of NQ. You guys will see the order go through right now. So 10 lots of NQ, we're in at 28,749. So overnight, QQQ got to 698. It looks like it wants to run to 700. So yeah, it looks like NQ wants to run as well. Could go to 29,000, potentially make a run to 30,000 before short-term top forms. But the market's been pretty hot. Tech's been running. Looking pre-market here, we're seeing Meta gap up, right? Nvidia is starting to show some strength. Tesla higher on China news as well. So gapping above 400 looks like stock of interest for the day. It does have a tendency to pull back, right? Anytime it gaps over, it makes a run. So something really important to be aware of when trading this stock. SanDisk and MU had big runs. So showing some weakness here pre-market. They're both gapping down. So I would be careful on these two names. We caught a huge run on these two stocks these few weeks, mainly with MU. So yeah, it should be an interesting day. There's a rotation into the Mag 7 right now. Right, Meta, Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, Google, all kind of making gap ups here. Microsoft also making a bigger gap. So we saw the chip stocks run first. We saw memory stocks run, and now potentially could see a move back into stocks that used to lead the market back in the day, right? All the way from pretty much 2010 till 2023. So yeah, let's see what happens. Took NQ 10 lots here. Like I said, we're in at 28,750. You guys can see that on the screen. Show you guys. I only use the desktop version of thinkorswim for charts. I actually enter all my trades on my phone. And I want to also do it to show you guys that you don't need hotkeys, right? You don't need these fancy indicators or fancy buttons to be profitable. All you need is the right idea, simple phone to enter trades, and you can make a lot of money. I've actually made pretty much all of my money on using thinkorswim, all on the phone. Yeah, we're in our first trade pre-market right now. We're up about 700 bucks on the trade, so let's see what happens. You guys can see we're up so far. What's that? 50 minutes until the market opens, and we're seeing Meta already make a bigger move here, right? Microsoft showing strength, like I said. QQQ slowly inching higher. So QQQ and NQ are directly related. They're basically the same thing. NQ is futures, QQQ is an ETF. That's a big thing that I trade on a daily basis is the NASDAQ. Those of you that know me from Discord, I trade the NASDAQ pretty much every day, almost every day. And then for individual stocks, I try to focus on ones that have relative strength. So one right now, like I said, is Tesla. You're seeing Meta, and then you're also seeing Microsoft. Oracle showing strength. Apple's near the all-time high at 288 right here. So this is an interesting, potentially interesting setup here. Kind of watch the market here. I'm preparing for, I'm actually doing my pre-market call for Discord soon. So gonna do that, and then when the bell opens, we'll kind of jump back in and see which options trades are best for taking. But yeah, I'll be back in about 50 minutes when the market opens for you guys. And we'll see what kind of trades present themselves. But yeah, took on the first trade here. Like I said, $10,000 drawdown is gonna be what we're gonna do for NQ, and we'll see if we can run it up to at least 10,000. Hopefully a $20,000 trade just from 10 lots. While I do the live trading today, I'm also doing live trading in my mentorship too. So if you guys hear me talking to other people or answering questions, it's because I'm answering questions from people that are asking during the live Zoom call, right? So just to give you guys a disclaimer. So here we are pre-market, and you guys can see here on the screen, Mag 7 looks strong again, right? And QQQ, SPX both making small gap ups, nothing significant, but seeing oil lower and then stocks higher is a good sign. And then seeing a bit of rotation out of names that have been running, right? MU, SanDisk, gap in lower, and then you're seeing strength in Nvidia, Tesla, Meta, Apple, Google, Microsoft. So let's see if we can see some type of run today. The stocks that are gapping up, like Meta, Nvidia, Tesla, they're typically pretty hard trades, Microsoft as well. So I'm gonna be a little bit more patient at the open. I did buy some NQ this morning, just 10 lots, right at this price, 28,750. So just a quick disclaimer, bought that a little bit earlier. Let's see if QQQ can get to 700. That'll be a hard level. So if you take calls on QQQ or NQ, as this gets near 700, just be aware that it's a hard level to break above. Those round numbers are proven to be hard resistance levels. So be careful there. Let's see, Microsoft's up 6 points here. ARM lower after earnings. Tried to rip higher, right? Got to 268 and then they dumped it. So let's see if this one can pump back higher. But yeah, I'm watching Tesla, I'm watching Nvidia, I'm watching Apple here pre-market. Those are the names of interest at the moment. But let's see. Let's see what happens. Nvidia's at 209 here, pre-market 1.5. Yeah, so let's see. QQQ, let's take a look. So we have Friday, we're looking at Friday expiration here. 700 calls interesting, but let's kind of watch and see what happens. All right, 3 minutes to open here. So first, 10, 15 minutes usually the most volatile. So, if you're new or you have a smaller account, I'd just be a little bit more patient during that time period. If you size too big during the first 15 minutes, you can get stopped out pretty quickly. So just gotta really be patient here. So quick a little bit of volatility pre-market, but wouldn't pay too much attention to that this early. All right, so Tesla's holding up pretty decent. Let's see what the premiums are at. It's a hard trade though. Tesla, it's not really, it's a tough trade. Yeah, gonna watch a couple different strikes here in Tesla, but it's a tough trade. 28,750 for NQ. 408 pre-market. It's a big gap now, so it's kind of in that territory of like for Tesla. It's such a big gap that buying at the open is really not best practice. So really got to be careful right there. It's actually in some sense it's good that because like opening up at like 405, 404, it makes you almost want to tempt you to really buy. But now that it popped up a little bit more, it really should push you to actually hesitate because it's such a bigger gap. So actually, in some sense, could be a good thing. All right, we got 15 seconds to open. Let's see. All right, market opened 408. So Tesla higher at the open here. Amazon trying to pop up. You see MU SanDisk still pretty weak. So you just got to be careful there. Nvidia, typically a hard trade, you see. Quick dip. Google under 400 pretty fast. Let's see, Microsoft's moving higher, AOI, AVGO, NBIS, quick dip here. Tesla's holding up pretty decent. I'm just a little bit more cautious on that stock. Goldman Sachs at the highs here. Google went green to red, you see that? Oracle, quick dip as well. 200's a hard level, so not surprised that kind of rejected near their pre-market and then lower. But Microsoft's looking strong, Robinhood's trying here. Dip bought up a little bit here in QQQ. So far, nothing quite yet. Meta's strength, Microsoft strength there. Amazon lower, Google lower, Apple kind of near that 288. Let's see. SanDisk got bought up there. See that? Up 25. MU bought up a bit, up 5 points. Tesla showing strength. looking pretty decent. Looks like 414 possible here. But like I said, typically just a really tough one. Apple got bought up at 288. So SPX plus 6, QQQ plus 0.7, not bad. I'm trying to hold green here. MU SanDisk getting bought up. You see SanDisk? Let's see if it gets above 1400. Apple new highs. Apple, Meta, Tesla, SanDisk, Goldman Sachs looking decent here. Microsoft as well. ARM. Wow, ARM's looking better. You see that? Let's see, that's got a shot to run. Yeah, tip got bought up pretty fast on there, but it's a big move. 235 call could work as a lotto, but let's see. SanDisk at 1393 looks better. Let's see if MU can go red to green. If so, it's got a shot here. If it gets near 670, I think it'll go to 700. So let's see if it can do that. All right, so we're up about $2,000 so far on the, you guys can see here on the, let's zoom, focus, 2,000 bucks on the NQ so far, 2,500. All right, MU and SanDisk looking decent. Yeah, it looks like Tesla wants to test that 414. It's got a shot now. Google, wow, Google, Amazon, Nvidia kind of fake out to the upside. Meta and Tesla look good. Yeah, QQQ is interesting. Let me see here. So I'm watching QQQ. If, you know, the next big resistance is going to be at 700. So that's the area of interest here that I'm watching for now. Let's see. Wow, look at Tesla. So it's at 414 now. But I would still just treat it as a quicker day trade for Tesla. It's a hard trade. A lot of volatility with SanDisk. You see that? Dropped 18. So SPX, quick dip there, dropped 8 points, 9 points. QQQ dropped about half a point. So indices are just kind of chopping around a bit, right? Seeing more pullbacks. Nvidia, Amazon, Google, MU pulling back. Seeing strength here in Meta, Tesla, Apple, Microsoft. So some mixed signals so far, but I mean overall market's holding up pretty decent. Not bad. I'm watching QQQ here. Microsoft's still going. So rejection at 414 there on Tesla. It's a hard level. The next one, it was 400 and then 414. So let's see if it pops back through. All right, let's see if we can. So QQQ is trying to get bought up here, but let's see. I'm just watching at the moment. Oracle dip got bought up as well. Pretty decent bounce. Amazon bought up. Google trying to go red to green here. Microsoft still looking pretty good. Oh, you see the rejection, 414, and then dropped 3. Oh, dropped 4. So, yeah, let's see. All right, so QQQ is trying here. Let's see. All right, it's worth a shot. All right, we're gonna pick up some here. Let's do a little lotto position here in QQQ. Let's see what happens. All right, so we bought QQQ in anticipation here for a potential rip to 700. You're seeing strength in the Mag 7, which hold a big component of the NASDAQ. So if they can continue higher, then trading QQQ is, I guess, a broader way to capture that move in the Mag 7. So that's the reasoning behind the trade. Picked up 50 contracts of it. Yeah, let's see if we can make some money on it. All right, guys, so you can see here on my phone, I picked up 50 lots. Oh, I'm sorry, 50 contracts of QQQ. So paid $2.33, about $11,000 worth. And then kind of quickly back here, we're up $4,000 on the NQs we bought, 4,500 bucks. So we're slowly moving towards that, you can see, and then we're up $5,000 now, 6,500. So you can see total profit on the account. So yeah, let's see what happens. All right, Tesla dip's getting bought up a bit. Yeah, guys, just give me about 30 minutes before I answer questions. I'm really got to lock in here and kind of observe the market. So Microsoft's ripping, wow, up 3%. So that's good. Meta's holding strong, Tesla. Apple's tough, right? I mean, typically Apple's a pretty hard trade, so I'm not surprised that it's kind of a little bit slower near 288 so far. So I think the best way to trade Apple is you got to buy time on this trade. That's the way that I would do it. So SPX, a little bit of lag here. You see there's a little bit of deviation. So IWM's at the lows, SPX at the lows, and then QQQ kind of not at the highs, but it's not at the lows. So that's one thing to observe here. So we either see a reversal for these two back higher, or QQQ and the tech stocks will kind of sell off. So one of the two will happen. We don't know which one it'll be. But the key here on days like this, like I said, is just sizing properly, right? You don't want to size too big, especially when the market's been kind of hot. Looks like we're potentially on the tail end of a run, so you don't want to size too big. All right, so Tesla's showing some pretty good relative strength there. Microsoft as well. So Microsoft, Tesla still holding up well. Meta's holding up well. Oracle almost at 200. You see SanDisk and MU though? A lot of rotation out of these names right now. I think they're kind of moving into different stocks. The money, it's flowing differently. But they've had massive runs. I mean, SanDisk was at, $800 really not too long ago. I mean, just a few days ago, it was at $1,000. Rips to 1430, touched 1500, I think, right? Pre-market, yeah. So SPX, IWM at the lows, you see, we want to see if this can get bought up. In a perfect world, you want to see SPX and QQ move together, not the opposite right now. So I would say be careful here. So Oracle's at 200 now. Apple's getting bought up. Meta's getting bought up. Tesla's getting bought up. But you're seeing some deviation, right? I mean, SPX, QQQ, Google, MU, GS, SanDisk, AMD lower, ARM back lower quickly there. AVGO selling off, AOI lower, Dell lower, Bitcoin lower today. So there's just mixed signals in the market right now. Let's see if this gets bought up or not. So far, kind of average price action. Don't love it. Yeah, you say lower. QQQ a bit lower now. So SPX printing new lows intraday. QQQ. IWM new lows. QQQ is almost at the lows too. So another rejection on Tesla at 414. Yeah, I don't love what I see. Still really early though. Only 15 minutes into the day. So SPX, ideally you want to see a quick 10-point pop here to get back near those highs. It only needs 10 points to get back to the highs. So MU and SanDisk still printing new lows, so definitely some weakness here. I think to avoid these names is probably the best now. We caught pretty much the whole move, so there's no reason to get caught up here. Oh, lower, you see? So some more weakness now. So first 15 minutes, some volatility. I want to see it get bought up soon. I want to see it go too much lower from here. Yeah, it just needs a quick 10-point pop SPX. Look more bullish. Goldman Sachs getting bought up. Tesla 414 is a hard one, so just be aware of that. MU bought up quickly. Well, very volatile, right? I mean, it dropped to 641 and then popped up to 648. Quick dip again, you see. SPX is down. No, I mean, it's not huge. It's down 16 from the highs, 15. QQQ down 1.5. Kind of an average day so far. Nothing great yet. So Nvidia's getting bought up a bit, up 1.5. Yeah, Tesla 414 is going to be a big one, so let's see if it rips through it. But so far, nothing. I don't see anything amazing. Not quite yet. Like, you see, like I said, like the gap, like it gapped up. I think where did it gap up near 408? So it's a big gap from yesterday's close, so there's no reason to get caught up trying to trade this price action for Tesla today. Right? The move was buying yesterday, for some people did, and then selling at the open. And right now, we got to see if this can get back above 414. That's the only really true way to go long on this one, is see where it starts to base, and then later today, if it gets through 414, then maybe consider a trade. But for now, it's still a little bit tough. So still big deviation here with SPX and QQQ. SPX is pretty weak. It's down 16 from the highs. It's not a huge deviation, but there is some. SanDisk got bought up again, up 20. Volatile, super volatile. You see Tesla? It's a hard trade, I'm telling you. So MU, pretty decent bounce, wow. Up 14 from the lows, 15 from the lows. Almost back to the highs. So you're seeing some deviation now between SanDisk and MU too. So this is 40 points, over 40 points from the highs, while MU is right near the highs. So typically those two move together, and actually you've seen SanDisk show more strength than MU, so maybe I'm not sure what that means, but it's just something to observe at least. So some weakness, you see. Tried to pop higher, they pulled it back. Meta's holding up, Microsoft holding up here. Oracle's holding up, Nvidia getting bought up. MU getting bought up a bit. SPX, QQQ not moving much though. There's really not much strength at all. Do I buy at limit or wait for price to come to me? It depends. If the spread is tight and I want it now, I'll just do a market order. But if the spread is wider, like let's say 50 cents or more, or even like 30 to 50 cents more, then you definitely should do a limit order. All right, so Meta's getting bought up, QQQ's getting bought up a bit. MU, you see? So I'm showing some strength here. All right, so SPX and QQQ getting bought up a bit. Nvidia, 212 is the level, so let's see if it gets through it. Wow, volatile, right? Look at this thing. I mean, it popped up almost 20 points from the lows. IGV might be a good trade if QQQ shows strength. IGV. What's IGV? Not sure what IGV is, but... Alright, MU, let's see. Alright, so QQQ is looking better. Alright, SPX looking better. But you see the difference though between these two? The price action? It's completely different. Like this one's still near the lows. This one's not quite near the highs, but it almost got back there. You see? So what that means is you're seeing strength in the NASDAQ, the like tech. All right, MU's trying. Software index. I mean, it could work, but I mean, QQQ, you know, what you don't need to complicate the trade, right? I would just take the QQQ. I think that's more straightforward than trying to like find another proxy to a proxy, meaning trading the ETF as a proxy to the tech stocks, but playing a proxy to a proxy is kind of like a complicated way to see the trade. Plus, I don't really know what that is either, so I couldn't give you a best answer in terms of like the way the price action moves or something like that. All right, so MU's trying here. Yeah, see, we get 700. So SPX is trying to catch up a little. It's trying. Tesla dip got bought up. MU's definitely stronger than SanDisk now. Up 20 something from the lows. Wow. All right, guys, so quick update. We're up about $11,000 now. You can see that focuses. Hopefully you can see that. About 11 grand. I'll trade it from my phone, which is great. Let's see if we can keep pushing here. There's the NQ position. Up about 9,300 on that. You can see that, and then not up much on the QQQ yet, but almost $1,000 from the entry earlier. So let's see what happens. Okay, let's see here. So yeah, dips are getting bought up. 50. I want to see if we get a push to 7. All right, we're gonna sell half. We sold half of the NQ up here, so we made about 10,000 on it. Took half off right there. Yeah, Apple's looking strong. I don't normally trade Apple. I think Shafi alerted in the Discord, but it's not really something I'm interested in nowadays. It doesn't really move as much as I'd like it to. But it's, I mean, 288 is a level. Some volatility again, you see. But let's see if they buy it up fast. Tesla's almost back to 414. Volatile. right, Tesla's almost back there. Looks better. Meta's near the highs. But still some weakness here. A lot of weakness SPX. Wow. Apple's a runner. All right, so I have a sell order on the NQs, the rest of it at 28,785. So I'm gonna sell the rest there, kind of, and then reassess. Okay, so we hit the rest of it for now. I might jump back in a bit later, but for now we'll sell it. Okay, so I sold the rest of the NQs. You guys can see on the screen it order triggered, but made almost 10 grand on the trade, 9,690 bucks. So $9,690 on that trade. Yeah, we're about flat on the QQQ trade, so let's see if that can pay at some point today. All right, so Apple, Meta leading. Tesla stopped near 414 again. So dips got bought up here. It looks like QQQ is going to try. Let's see. If it gets to 28,800 on NQ, I might jump back in, but let's see what happens. Well, there goes Apple. Yeah, Apple's a ripper. There he goes. Yeah, Meta 630 call could work as a lotto. I might jump back in a bit. Might do 5 lots of NQ maybe. Just watching at the moment. SPX dips again, bought up a little. It's not moving much today though. Nvidia, let's see if it gets to 212. Dips are getting bought up though here. Yeah, Nvidia's looking pretty strong. It's different again today. Yesterday had a nice 10-point move. Today, up 2 from yesterday's close. Big deviation IWM, huh? So watch it closely here. All right, let's try 5 again. Back in NQ, just 5 lots. Yeah, I mean, if Nvidia gets to 212 today, I mean, it's got a shot to rip right through 215. Let's see what NQ does here. QQQ. So in theory, so you got 698 almost here. QQQ. It's got 2 points of upside before you hit a hard level. Let's see what happens. So they might try to squeeze it. Let's do 3. All right, so we're in at 8. We got 8 lots here. So we're up 1,600 on the NQs. We're up about $1,000 on QQQ. Nvidia's almost at 212, another point and change. So let's see if they can get there. Oh, quick little dip. Let's see if they buy it up fast. QQQ is kind of not much movement in the premium so far. So we need to see a quick move here soon in QQQ to the upside. So I'm going to sell these NQs. Let's see, around 40. So 28,840 is where I'm going to sell the rest of it, or the whole thing. So in theory, we should see QQQ try to test 700. If it can get there, then definitely looks a lot better. I'm going to sell half of the QQQs at $3 just to get some profit on those. Okay, so quick little pop there. We need another 15 points here on NQ to get out of these. But as we approach 700, that's where you kind of got to really reassess, be patient. It'll be a hard level, I think. All right, so MU 670 is going to be the range here to get through. If it gets through there, it's got a shot to rip tomorrow. I mean, I think MU could be in play tomorrow if it can't get through 670 today. Yeah, Nvidia really strong. All right, so we're up 4 grand now on NQ, about 14,000 on the day trading it. Let's see if we get to 40. It should hit. Let's see if it hits. Up 2 grand on QQQ. SPX looks like it wants to retest the highs. Looks like 7,400 possible. It's got a shot. Yeah, so I took 8 more lots of NQ, jumped back in when it got above 28,800, and QQQ was at 698. So if that gets to 700, these could pay 4,500 bucks on them right now. About 14,000 so far on NQ for the day. You can see there. So let's see. Order should get filled here soon if they rip it. All right, so MU's almost there, almost at 670. Let's see what happens. Nvidia back near 212. Nvidia's strong. Wow, look at MU too. See a quick little pop here, and these NQs we'll get out of them again. We're about 5 grand on them right now. Oh, here it comes. It's almost 6 grand. Dang, almost got there. Pull back a little. Here comes MU. What a move. There's 670. NVIDIA 212 lining up. You see Tesla, I'm telling you, it's a hard trade. This stock is a hard trade. It's an unforgiving stock. People will size in on a day like this too, thinking like it's gonna rip, and it never does. Yep, I have a 215 call, you're right, for NVIDIA. All right, we have MU as well. We have half of a position at MU. We have MU, we have NVIDIA, we have QQQ, we have MSTR for next week. I want to get out of these NQs soon. Let's see if they can get there. Get a little choppy. Come on, one quick little pop. One quick little pop will get out of these NQs. That's all we need. 30, 40 cents on QQQ. Here we go. Come on. Almost there. There we go. All right, so we made about close to $6,000 on those NQs we entered, those eight lots. So $15,600 trading NQ. We're up 2,500 bucks on QQQ so far. So up about 18,000 for the day. Oh, there we go. All right, up. QQQ's moving. Make sure you guys have a plan for every trade, all right? Don't blindly follow me or anyone else. All right, the most important thing to do is have a plan and just stick to it. Okay, so we have, well, NVIDIA. And NVIDIA's looking great. Wow, NVIDIA, let's go. All right, so SPX is, so I would say if SPX can get through the highs, I mean, it's not far if it's 4.5 points. If it gets through the highs, 7,400 call is going to be a really cheap lotto for today. You know, not telling anyone to buy it, but it's risk reward there is not too shabby. You see where MU stopped right near 670? Oracle trying 200, but it's a hard level. Tesla is holding up, right? It doesn't look terrible, but like I said, it's a hard trade typically, but it's still holding decent as long as 400 holds. It's kind of priming up for a bigger run, but the timing on it is the hard part when it comes to Tesla. How do you decide on lot size? So, I mean, it's different for each person. The most important thing is that just buy what you're willing to lose, right? Size to the point where you don't have any emotion attached to the trade, right? It's different for every trader. So, is there a lesson on trading futures in your course? Is there a lesson on trading futures? I don't think so. Can anyone recall? I don't know if I did a futures webinar yet. Maybe I'll do that next week, yeah. I did? Okay. You know, I'll do another one. I'll do another one next week. Kind of talk a little bit more in depth. Because you guys can see the way I trade futures, it's a little different, right? You kind of just more like in and out compared to like, oh, we're about to fill on these QQQs. I have a sell order on QQQ at $3 for half of them. It almost got there. It stopped for a sec. MU, let's see if we can get 700 tomorrow. That'd be crazy. Okay, all right, there it is. We sold half at $3. Just quick profits there. MU, you know, we got NVIDIA, both look great. Oh, quick dip. Sold half. Comes MU. So we have the 700 calls. They're green from yesterday. I might day trade some shares of MU here just for fun, in anticipation for that move to 700. We bought shares of this at 370, and then you guys remember we bought SanDisk at like, I think 380. Crazy. Okay, I'm gonna buy 1,000 shares of MU here just as a day trade. So we got it. So I bought some at 376 and change. The rest of the QQQs, I'm gonna try to sell these at $4. Did we get there? Who knows? But that's the plan. So QQQ got kind of close to 700, right? I mean, 699 and change. It's very close to that level. So you got to be a little bit more cautious now. Honestly, I might even sell the rest of these NQs soon. Or I'm sorry, not QQQs. Just because it's very close to that level to where it may or may not get there. That potentially could have been close to the hard resistance. So just something to be aware of, you know, when trading. Let's see if they pop it up higher soon for QQQ. If they don't pop it up soon, I'm gonna exit the rest of these. I'm gonna get my finger on the trigger here. Okay, it's trying. It's trying there. Let's see if they pop it. Okay, 699. MU, you see MU? Let's see if 700 comes. This trade with QQQ, I'm not going to be greedy with it. I'm going to exit here. I'm just get out the rest here at 303. Let's see. So we have MU, we have calls, and then we have shares, and then let's see if we can get paid. All right, guys. So I exited the QQQs. Made about 3,000 in profit on those, right? 3,400 bucks on there. We made 15,000 on NQ, so up about 19,000 there. And then I took, as you guys saw, shares of MU, so we're up 4,000. So we're up almost 25,000. We almost hit our target here, and we're not even 1 hour into the day yet. So let's see if we can get paid on these. 18 plus 4 is 22. So yeah, MU moves up another $3 here. It's at 670. Oh, 680. I'm sorry. Then yeah, we're gonna get paid, and we'll hit the $25,000 mark for the day. All right, guys. So yeah, QQQ is running, but you know, like I always say, is I'd rather sell on the way up than the way down. So that's one way that I trade that. Yeah. So we hit a few different trades today. All of them have hit so far. Wow, QQQ, crazy run, like 150 points since what, beginning of April. So those QQQs are paying if you held those. The NQs are also paying if you held those. But I'm going to be a little bit more cautious here. I mean, it could break out above 700, very possible. So MU, I'm going to sell all of it. 685, the shares. You see the quick rejection there, QQQ? Yeah, so guys, you guys are asking me questions on like when you should sell something. I can't tell you like when to sell a position. So it's really important that you make sure you have a plan for every trade. It's essential. I can't tell you to where you should be getting out of anything, right? It's very important that this is a part of trading that you guys have to take care of for yourself. The best I can do is give you the levels, you know, the areas of resistance and support, and then you have to make your best judgment from there. Crazy move on MU. All right, guys, so we're about flat on the MU 1,000 shares I bought. We were up 25,000 at one point, but got a little distracted answering some questions with the mentees in the mentorship. But yeah, I mean, we basically hit the target. I'm gonna still hold it and see if we can get back up there. But yeah, let's see what happens. But pretty much hit that 25,000 within 1 hour, about 55 minutes of the open. All right, so QQQ's right there. Let's see if they pop it through. Wow, NVIDIA is strong. Very, very strong. So you see the relative strength in MU I mentioned earlier, like when it was at 653, it broke through and it ran another, you know, almost 30 points, pretty much 30 points. But you see Sandus didn't get back, it got back to the highs, but it reversed back lower. So when you look at these two, this is how you know which one to trade, the one with relative strength versus the one that looks weaker, meaning when you're trying to bet the upside. So there's a big lesson in that to understand which one to go long on. Okay, we're gonna try again here for NQ. We'll see if it gets to 700 on QQQ, and then if so, NQ's got another about 100 points of upside potentially. So I just dabble into a little here. Just took 5 lots at 28,879. All right, let's see if the market tries to rip here. In theory, it should, seeing the strength in NVIDIA MU here. I mean, NQ, it's each trade is different, right? There's no like this is only for day trading. It just depends on the trade. So, all right, QQQ is right near 700. Let's see if it can pop through and rip another 2-3 points. The market rips again. It's got a shot to go again tomorrow. Let's see what happens. 700. A little slow here near 700, but it's holding up so far. Let's see. Sandisk and MU, both memory and storage mode. One is up, is the other always down? No. I mean, the easiest way to check is just look at the two stocks on the daily chart and then just compare them, and you'll be able to see the price action. So, all right, guys, I'll be back in a few minutes. Just take a quick little break here. But yeah, be back in a few. Yep, so I'm back. Let's see if the market can break out here. Everything seems to be running so far. All right, so Tesla's almost back to 414 here. MU's holding up well. Nvidia's holding up well. Google avoided hard trade under 400. It's been running. Microsoft lower. So let's see what happens. Yeah, let's see if this thing can break out above 700 QQQ. There we go. Market's trying here. Yeah, let's see if we get 685. Okay, here we are. So QQQ got to 700. I mean, those QQQs, those 700 calls I sold, it's a bit more of a cautious play, but it's best practice to kind of do that approaching a hard level because we don't know how it's going to act there. In this case so far, it's trying to break out. But in some cases, sometimes it rejects very fast and then it doesn't move. We might jump out of these NQs a little bit sooner. They could just rip it, but I'm going to sell here. Made a little bit there, a little bit more on those NQs. All right, guys, so we sold NQ again. We ended up making about 17,820 bucks on that trade. You guys can see that hopefully. So we did that. We took the QQQs earlier. I told you, made 3,400. So we're up about over 20,000, right? So now we have the MU, we jumped in, right? 1,000 shares. So if we can sell that at the target, we'll make over 25,000 for the day. So just waiting to see if that can happen. You see, I got rejected. A little bit of rejection there, 700. Still holding it though. It doesn't look terrible. So I ended up doing about 17,800 there on NQ so far today. So yeah, made 3,400 on QQQ. So we're up over 20, about 21,000. Yeah, SPX is kind of slow. Like earlier I mentioned, it had that relative weakness. And since then, it's only moved up about 15, 16 points from the lows. Versus QQQ, it's moved up over 4.5, almost 5. Well, it moved up 5 points from the lows. So definitely more strength here in tech compared to SPX. Yeah, Apple, as long as 288 holds, looks fine. Tesla's trying here. Let's see if they rip through 414. Question, Brendan, you seem optimistic the market can keep rallying. However, it seems like a healthy market should have at least small pullbacks. Can you give some commentary on the macro? Well, I did mention on Sunday that, you know, short term we are somewhat overbought here, right? So short term you could see a pullback, right? Especially like I said, QQQ 700 is a hard level. So you want to be a little bit more cautious as we get there, and we're there now. So long term, yeah, I am, of course, I'm optimistic the market can keep going. But short term, we've seen a huge rally. But macro looks fine. I mean, we recovered from the Iran situation. It's a tailwind now, so. All right, there goes Tesla. Let's try in here. So I mentioned earlier when it was at 410, you know, it doesn't look too bad. It's holding up pretty decent. And then now you're seeing it start to rally. So definitely looks a little better. Looks like NASDAQ might try again. Let's see what happens. Still pretty strong. All right, we'll try one more. We'll do 5 lots here. Yeah, SPX to the highs. A little bit of lag now in MU. So we took 5 lots again of NQ at 28 and 912. 912 will sell at 9, let's say 42, 43. So Tesla kind of struggling a little near 414 again. It's kind of back testing it. Let's see if it holds this time. MU down 13. All right, guys, so I'm gonna end today's session soon, but you guys saw I Well, pretty much got to 25,000, got very close. The MU shares, I'm gonna hold those overnight. But yeah, now you guys have seen a full session, every setup, every decision I make, and every trade that worked, and the ones that potentially may not work, like the MU shares. If you want to understand the specific framework behind every angle and every single call I make in this video, in the next video, I'm going to break down the exact trading framework I've been using the past 16 years and the ones that just produced every trade that you watched. So click the video here because by the end of the next video that I post, you have a clear picture of the market, a much clearer one than most people have been trading for years. So I'll see you guys there.